me go to the back room real quick. Okay. Let me... Okay. Turn on the light. So, I'm going to be working on one of the fan art, not really fan art, but one of the custom images for the video, along with some other stuff later on. Maybe. Just depends. Now, obviously, I'm working on a Gravity Falls video. Which I have to get that done. And I have to work on ironing out script stuff later on. So I have to like test recording shit like that. But like today I don't really have too much going for me, so I'm kind of just saying, okay, well, I might as well work on other stuff. Let me change my pen real quick. Let's try a dip pen. There we go. That's better. Well, it's better, but it also is worse. Hold on. I need to change the settings of it. Okay, there we go. There we go. I'm working on assets for the Gravity Falls video. One of them is going to be talking about like boss fights and like also homages to the fandom and pulling out like all the multiverse level stuff that I thought, okay, that'd be cool. And for this, I thought, okay, what is something that's very popular in the fandom that a lot of people like, and I don't think it was ever really referenced, but I think it was like an original fan creation, and how cool would it be to have it be played on in the game? And I thought, what would work here? And then I immediately thought, reverse falls, and where like Dipper and Mabel actually have like, which actually is weird, and I don't really fully know the lore of the reverse falls, but basically they're basically like the Gideons of the world, and I thought that was cool, and I thought that would actually be an interesting boss fight that you can kind of play on, where kind of mixing that from God of War, mostly, with the Magni and Modi fight. So yeah, there's that. There are no chats. Okay, so I don't see anything so far. So that's... I'm hoping that it picks up. My tablet wasn't really charged before stream, so I will say that I might be ending, like, it might be a shorter stream. Also, hello Husk. Hello. Hey man. I'm working on like one of the asset. I know I need to do like a bunch of asset drawings and not just for like gameplay stuff throughout the video because I can't completely rely. I'm gonna admit on gameplay stuff, like maybe some things to explain stuff from other games, but I can't really rely on anything Gravity Falls wise because besides the DS game, which I have zero way of capture recording. I have zero way, not a single way. And the only other thing I could think of like we can capture record is like a fan game of Gravity Falls, and I have no idea how to find that. So I have to make a lot of custom assets myself. And the video, what I sent you, like you can download like the test recording to like take inspiration from for like the script. Because like I will admit like some elements of it aren't perfect, and I will say that probably the intro and what else? The intro and other stuff could probably be changed. Like, I'm not really happy with all the editing stuff. I'm not really happy with everything. Let me move over here for a second. I have an idea of some stuff, but it's like I'm 50-50 on a lot, and I think that there's a lot that could be tweaked or changed or redone, and I can, you know, if it was like marginalized to like a script and stuff like that. Also, how are you doing? You did a lot of reducing background scenes. Yeah. Well, yeah. I will say that like when it came to like certain things, like I know that there's a lot that I would probably need to like figure out. 'Cause like like this video, like the Gravity Falls video, you just beat Astrobot. Well, I'm happy for you, but I haven't. I haven't had time to finish it. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I know that there's a lot of stuff that I'll probably have to like figure out a way to get like we can get scenes from the show, and also like I wouldn't say like have them like have certain things from the show and also have other stuff. I know that I'm gonna have like a buttload of work because I still have the Arkham Origins video that I need to do, and also the Arkham DLC video, the Arkham Shadows DLC video more specifically. I haven't, I will admit with that one I have kind of gotten lazy and just I'm putting it off as much as possible because like I know I need to do the art for it first, and I also have to iron out the story, and that's hard to do when I'm sick. I have it like I'm recovering and like so yeah. Well, tomorrow I got my school test after, and I got some time to go through the whole thing, and I will make scenes for you to use. Okay. Well, I'll give you this, okay? For like story, the story of the game, the best idea that I had, okay? Pulling, like this is the best, like I can talk it now and kind of just describe to you a certain section. The story of the game, I was taking a lot of inspiration from like the Gravity Falls lore, so like Lost Legends and stuff like that. But also because of the Book of Bill that was most recently released, Bill says a line that basically says it's ironic and kind of poetic because Dipper and Mabel beat him in this timeline. This is the one timeline that they don't die. But in the a bunch of other timelines, they either go and become evil, or they do this, or they do that. And there's also like a multiverse of like different timelines where there's evil versions of Dipper and Mabel. And I thought that was actually pretty cool to kind of do something on the lines of like Multiverse of Madness, mixing that with What If, and mixing that also with the Dark Multiverse storyline from DC Comics, where you had the alternate versions of Batman. Well, that would actually be something that you can pull from for this storyline for the game, where you have like a multiverse type of timeline mixture thing that you can kind of like do for this game. And I thought you can kind of pull from that in many different ways and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. But yeah, we'll take some time to finish. Yeah. Oh, I understand what you want, like, sideline. Yeah. This game could be considered canon or it could not be. It just depends. Like, it's just my take on what I think a cool Gravity Falls video game could be. And obviously, I'm pulling a lot from the Simpsons movie video game that was on, I believe it was on the PS2. And also, hey, Chicken, sorry, I'm not ignoring you. I saw your message. Sorry, I'm just rambling. So, like, I'm pulling from that along with the Hellboy video game from the PS5, where basically they took the art style of the comics and translated it to video game format. I wanted to do something fairly similar where you can kind of take from the show and stuff like that. Like the player needs to make... Well, I wouldn't say they have choices, like you could have that, but I would say that there's alternate universes and stuff like that. And this is like Dipper and Mabel versus the multiverse. It's kind of like taking the plot of Doctor Strange and mixing that with Lego Dimensions and also Epic Mickey. Kind of like Red Dead. Well, I don't know. I don't know if like there would be like a choice-based system, but I like the idea of like Dipper and Mabel versus like the multiverse. It's like Gravity Falls versus that. Because like we've kind of dealt with different dimensions and time travel and stuff like that, but what they haven't really dealt with before is like different versions or dark versions of like different characters. Or more specifically themselves. And I actually think that that is an interesting concept where like you can see different versions of Dipper and Mabel that could be cartoonishly evil, or they could be like, they would actually make Dipper or Mabel question themselves at a certain point, like the sock opera Dipper, you know, like I sacrificed everything, like maybe even give like that version of Dipper like a ghost version of him, kind of like scaring Mabel a little bit, and kind of like, I sacrificed everything for you, and you all you cared about was some boy. You chased boys throughout this whole summer, blah blah blah. Like dark versions or interpretations of characters that you have to fight, and also you have like the storyline that kind of challenges the characters of Gravity Falls in a different way. Yeah, I was just listening to things and the skills, and almost seemed like you made Dipper super OP with billions. Well, no, here's the thing. I felt like for the other characters, like each character, I wanted them to have specific skills that fit them very well. I didn't want to make any character super overpowered. It was more me kind of like, I didn't really have a good idea. Hold on. I had like, my nose ran and it got on the tablet and I had to try to wipe it off. I didn't have really a good idea for each character of like their gameplay. Like for Dipper, I figured he's super smart. He is kind of like a detective. He's kind of like this or that. I felt like he works very well in that regard, and he could have a couple gadgets that could be used in strategy and stuff like that. So like the shrinking flashlight and the growing part of it. Then you have also, maybe he could have the memory gun. I figured that could be like a weapon that he can use to stun enemies and stuff like that. And I figured he can't, like, he's not very good with traversing. So like there's a weakness there where he's a slow character. He runs fairly weak. He's not, you know, maybe you should go and on a disc voice chat for once. We can summarize. Yeah, I might later. When I have the time. But basically, with Dipper, I do want him to still be a weak character because he's weak physically. He can't fight. Like he's not really like the best fighter. But I did want to make him more intellectually smart
but he does rely a little bit on gadgets and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to pull a little bit from the DS game. But with that, it was a platformer. I didn't really I wanted the skills to be unlocked throughout the game. So like for certain things, it's kind of like if you played Ratchet and Clank, how you unlock certain guns and stuff like that over the course of the game, or kind of like if you watched um my what is it called? My Nightmare Before Christmas video. Jack has 4 different forms that are distinctly different. But he unlocks them not tonight. Like I said, I know. But like what I was saying is that he has 4 different forms that are distinctly different from one another, and each one helps him out in traversal, puzzles, and stuff like that. But each has strengths and weaknesses. I wanted each character to be a little bit like that, where Dipper is a weak fighter and he's not very good with traversing. He can work from a distance and actually be a relatively smart character, where there is stuff that he can do that can unlock certain areas. I'm kind of taking a little bit of like a Lego approach. Like, you know how like certain characters had abilities that were specifically tied to them that other characters didn't? Like, for instance, like Harry had the invisibility cloak, so he can sneak through areas. Hermione's super smart, so she can unlock these certain shelves that Ron and Harry couldn't. Harry had Postle Mouth. He could speak to snakes, okay, whatever. And he can unlock these things. Ron had this or that, and he can do this or this. So it's like each character I wanted that you can play as has specific abilities that are tailored towards them, that, you know, like, that kind of have some stuff, you know? So kind of skill-based characters, kind of like that, yes. Kind of like, okay, the inspiration for like the combat and stuff like that kind of came from the Simpsons movie game. So if you look at like Homer, right? He has like different things that he can do. Like he can turn into a fat ball and do this. Or you have Bart who can become like Bartman and glide a little bit. Or he has his robotic form briefly. And he has different skills that help him through certain areas. Like each character has like a certain skill that helps them traverse, but also in combat that is like a fairly unique approach. So it's like each character has that. Like Mabel, I struggled a bit with each character because like if you look at the show, like to take inspiration from it, I actually had to come up, like think like what character works, like how each character could fit with like combat and actually make it work in like the multiverse sense, because like these are human characters. Yes, it's still based on a TV show, but you can't just go in and say, oh yeah, you throw out a manual and they have superpowers. Like I can't do that at all. So I actually had to like think in the realm of like looking at the show and taking inspiration from it. So like Mabel, unlike Dipper, can actually fight. She does have like physical, you know, stuff. Like she can beat the crap out of people. Unlike her brother. And she's a lot more hyperactive. So she, like, unlike Dipper, where Dipper is slower and he's physically weak, but he's super smart and he also relies on gadgets, Mabel is a lot quicker, a lot more physically. She can fight as well, but she's a little bit, I wouldn't use the word dumb, but she's not as smart as her brother. So that's like a drawback. But she also has abilities for herself that kind of differentiate her in a massive scale. So this way, there is like there is a bit of difference between her and Dipper gameplay wise. Like she has a grapnel hook, right? So she can get up to higher areas, or she can pull things towards her, kind of like Batman, right? From the Arkham games. Like you can use the bat claw, like kind of like that. So you can get up to a high area or get across to this area, and you can pull something towards you if you need to. So it's kind of like that. But other than that, I really had to think in like different regards to Mabel's character for like abilities, because Dipper has a lot of gadgets. Mabel, from what I remember of the show, had the grapnel hook and she had waddles, and that's it. Well, she could, yes, you could say that she can summon the pig in a fight, and maybe she can also have the pig traverse certain things to unlock areas, and you could say that as well. Because also Dipper has like the key that can unlock anything, from Quentin Trimbley. But other than that, like Mabel is one of those characters where I would have to like really think, because in the DS game, she does have the ability from her Dreamscaper thing to shoot off like hella or glitch bomb. I don't know. Maybe glitter bombs. Yeah, that like she could have a couple abilities. Like maybe you can say like she has some stuff as well. And unlike her brother, she does have a weapon. I actually thought about giving her like a couple abilities. Like the annoying voice ability kind of stemmed from Marge, where like there's a brief segment in the Simpsons game. Don't worry, I'm like a creative thinker. Hey, so am I. That's why I don't mind working. Like when I'm thinking when I'm thinking on my own, I don't always think of stuff. So it's like it's always good to actually work with somebody when it comes to videos, because like if I'm doing it on my own, sometimes I don't think of everything. So I actually applaud you. So like I'm like when it comes to like Mabel's moveset, there's a lot of stuff like you could say she could have. It's like at the moment, it's like I couldn't really come up with too much, because like Mabel has a couple things. She's a little bit more physical. She does have certain stuff. I would argue maybe she does get like an ability pulling from the unicorn to like channel like her imaginative side, because she's like really creative. And what? Hold on. And what's with a hair slam attack? She got long hair. Hair slam attack? What? I'm confused. I don't think I ever mentioned that. She doesn't have that. I don't remember. I don't think I ever gave her like some type of hair slam attack. I don't think that would be a thing. Also, this is like a boss fight of like the reverse Dipper and Mabel. So like they have like Gideon style abilities. Like this is like in a different universe. No, I thought of it. Oh, just like a skill. Well, I guess. Or like she has like some type of other thing, but yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like I'm thinking. Like I wanted each character to have a distinct skill set that actually helps them out, and like it would help them for certain areas. Like Pacifica Northwest has like she's a weaker character. Like, I don't want to have it to where, like, each character from Gravity Falls is completely playable. Like, some are unlocked later in the game. For, like, once you get to, like, different dimensions. Like, it's kind of like taking a bit of, like, a Star Wars Jedi Survivor approach. Or Jedi Fallen Order approach. Where, like, you couldn't run... Like, you had to, like, go through certain areas. And then, like, oh, wait, I can't go that way, because I have to run on the wall. And then later on that level, you get the ability. So it's like each character is kind of that way. And like sometimes you would have to unlock those characters to get to these certain areas or do certain things. And the thing was, like, for Mabel, having her have like an annoying ability or like or more not really annoying, but a loud ability, or the sugar rush ability would be pretty cool. I don't know. Oh wait, I know something. Give her the ability of shield creation, like skill for like defense, like she made a shield out of the cardboard using scissors. Well, yeah, you could say that, or like mixing that, because the only way to really shield something or someone, with like because of magic is with unicorn hair, and maybe she makes something briefly, from unicorn stuff and like mixes that with like cardboard and blah 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 to make like a magic shield, and that could work. Like she has a defensive ability, or like maybe she gets something from Blandon. Like Dipper gets the time machine thing to like briefly have that, and also she gets like a modified shield, because like Blandon had a shield, like so like you can have like a modified shield generator or like a modified shield ability where there's like different types of shields. I don't know, like it just depends. Like I'm trying to think like in the realm of like, I don't want to think realistically completely, because like I don't want this to be like one of those things where it's like really realistic and blah blah blah. I still want it to feel like the show. But in that realm, I also have to think, well, what was in the show that you can pull from? And also make it make sense, you know? I'm trying to think. With the other characters, or she gets like a backpack where she can store unicorn hair, and she can, yeah, maybe, yeah, that actually wouldn't be too bad. I'm trying to think, because like Mabel's one of those characters like she has to be distinctly different. And I do also want like each character, like here's the one thing that I did see as a problem. There is there could be a problem where there's too many characters to choose from. Like there's some characters that really should be trimmed out, like Pacifica or stuff like that. Because like one thing I did notice, like when I made this like little custom image here, I had it to where I was like just thinking in the realm of like, oh, you can hold and like switch and play as like a key set of characters once you unlock them. So like you have Dipper, you can swap, you can play as Mabel, or you can swap or have somebody else play with you, like a couch co-op thing, and have someone else play a specific character. But with like the realm of like other characters, Seuss would be the hardest character. Yeah, exactly. Other than him being a mechanic, like you have Dipper, Mabel, and Seuss, and then you have Wendy, Ford, and Pacifica. And I don't want there to be like useless characters. So like for like you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then Pacifica. So you have like 1, 2, 3. So there's like 6 slots. And whatever you have equipped moves. So it's in a different realm of like me having to think like what works here, what works there. Like Wendy's easy. Like Wendy's one of those characters that's super easy, and it's just like taking like the brave approach, and also like a Kratos approach. But it's like, well, I don't want there to be useless characters. Like I want there to be a point to having each one. Because here's my thing. I don't want to add, like this could be one of those things where it's like, do you want to add every character, well, not really every character, but most of the main cast of Gravity Falls, like Pacifica, Seuss, this, and this, and have them all be playable, or do you want to dumb it down? And the thing is, I actually wanted them to all be playable, but the problem that I kept running into is like, would you be playing as each character though? And I actually had to think about it, and I thought, well, you could have it to where there's a bit of like a Gravity Falls, not Gravity Falls, but Guardians of the Galaxy approach, but I don't know. I just looked it up and you would never guess what it said. What? What? He had, yeah, I know he had an infinite pizza. That he got that from like the guest, not the guest, but the um, what is it? The yeah, give him the ability like to restore health. Well, actually, that wouldn't be too bad. But he also could have the ability to fix stuff up, as well. Um, here's the thing. Here's my problem. I don't want there to be characters that are useless. Like, I don't want there to be, like, maybe, like, you could make the argument, like, you shouldn't have the ability to play as every character. But it's like, I do want there to be the idea of playing as most every character. Because it's like, maybe that wouldn't be too bad. But the problem is with doing that is that if like it's like basically saying giving the ability to play as like every character, then I would have to make Robbie be playable, and I was like, no. Cause like really all that you can have with him is that he's goth and he freaking, well, he hit fired question marks from his but yeah, that was in the Dreamscapers episode. It's the same. It would be the same thing as like Mabel firing cats from her hands. The thing with anything, it would be, I would have to have it to where like the axolotl gives certain characters like the abilities from the dreamscape, from Bill's dream dimension. And the problem with that would be, I would say arguably the problem with that would be making that make sense. But it's a video game, so it's like you can't make it make sense. It's based on a freaking cartoon show where anything's possible. So who cares? It's like, who cares? I don't know. I'm thinking in the different realm of like what works for A, B, C, and D, all that, because like I don't. Oh wait, that's a great idea. He can create portals with his mind, and why not make like key character where you need him to go to another dimension. Well, yeah, but the whole point of this game is like 4 dimensions and stuff like that. It's like, having like a dark multiverse style thing, like Multiverse of Madness or different timelines and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, you could say that. Hell, you can even make the argument, like, maybe the game begins with another Glubgore thing, where you have, like, the characters that have to make, like, a time wish, but also you could have them, like, do something. Because around this time, I think Time Baby is pretty much dead. So, like, something else is, like, taking its place, and, like, maybe Blendon is like, well, there's like a problem, we need you, like, you have to do this, but to blah blah blah, and basically the characters win, and then they get like a time wish, and they have to, the thing is because of the fact that the time wish is not fully whatever, there's a limit to it. So like basically whatever they get from their wishes, because they all get it because they win. There's a limit to how long you can have it. So if they get like, they have to be very careful what they wish for, and maybe certain characters also get like powers. I don't want to give like every character like special abilities. But I feel like that could maybe, in a certain facet, like maybe the Time Wish is weaker because of the fact that Time Baby's dead, and that the main reason why it was so perfect is because of the Time Baby. I don't know. I don't, like, you can just like explain it that way. You could just kind of retcon it just a little bit. this way, like, certain characters have like some abilities that are unnatural. Um, and I want there to be a sense of like this is like a battle for like the multiverse, and it's like pulling from like Secret Wars and stuff like that. But I need to go to the throne for a second, so I will be right back. Let me read what you said. Yeah, you should give them at least like one special ability that each character can use. Yes, that is the idea. I will say, like, I do want it to have like where you can play as each character, like a bunch of characters. I fairly want it to be like a mixture between The Simpsons, Guardians of the Galaxy, and stuff like that, where each character has a specific purpose. But I will be right back. Hell, you can have it to where Seuss fights kind of like Poe. Alright, sorry. I've been holding it for a bit because I've been streaming. um, the thing is, I don't want to add too many characters. But the thing is, I want there to be like some of the core characters from like Gravity Falls, like to really mix it up. Because, like, yeah, if you have, like, 6 different characters that you can play as, and they all feel fairly useless, and, like, you feel like... Because here's the thing, if I know that there would... If... I know for a fact, if I just give, think in, like, the video game format, if I give the... Because unlike the Lego games, you know, it doesn't matter because you can add like as many characters as you want. But with this is like a single player, you know, just add the main characters like Stan, Seuss, Bipper, maybe Wendy, the stuff. Yeah, well, here's what I think. I like that, but I also do want like side characters like Pacifica and Gideon to play a bit of a role. So, like, Dipper, Mabel, and stuff like that. Like, I think there could be a couple missions where, fairly similar to, like, Resident Evil, you have, like, because, like, Gideon, for what it's worth, he actually has the most that he can do gameplay-wise. If you want a character that's overpowered, you can have, like, he actually fits that role relatively well. If he has the amulet, he can lift objects with his mind, influence people, but also he does have some knowledge about magic and stuff like that from the journal. So there is a little bit of that as well. And Pacifica, she does have like a lot of different like background and like stuff. But I don't know if like maybe she would be playable, but I think like maybe we could dial it back to her being maybe
a character that you briefly play as within a side mission, to where like she in a certain set of side missions you can play as another character with the characters that you're already playing as. Um so it's like it kind of adds that. But I feel like Gideon though, Gideon Gideon does fit. I feel like if there's a certain set of characters, we can dial it back from whatever. Seuss, let's just, dial it in. Um let's just like put a circle here. Seuss, Dipper, Mabel, Stan, Wendy, Stanford, and Gideon. That's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 characters. If I had Pacifica on that, that would be 8, and I don't want to do that. But what if like you don't have the ability to play as each character, like a bunch of characters all at once at first? What if, like, mainly for most levels, it's 4? You have 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the main menu, you can swap them out. It's kind of like taking a bit of like a Suicide Squad type of approach. Where you have like 4 characters that you can play as. I want to kind of do something, I would say relatively similar, where in some regard ow you could like swap out certain characters, because I don't want to do a Guardians of the Galaxy style where it's like you're playing as one character but you have the abilities of each other one. I don't want to do that. Maybe make it so like you can play as certain characters, amount of characters in the different parts of the game. Like at the beginning you can play as the basic characters, then in other dimensions, yeah, maybe something like that. Or you can even swap them out. Like swap out, almost like if you remember Infamous 2, right? You can swap out certain sets of abilities. Like Cole had how many abilities did Cole have? He had different forms of like his grenades. He had different forms of his big special attacks. He had different other stuff. So he had to like, you can swap it for like a certain, because it has the same button combination, but you had to swap the ability, which would change the attack. So it's like in some regards, like you had to change out telekinesis for this, or blah 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 and blah 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 blah. It's like maybe you could do something like similar, and also mix that with the idea of like certain dimensions you have to play as certain characters, and blah blah blah. So like you can I can see that, like you could do something similar. We can kind of like get away with that. Um, that could work. I'm not gonna lie. Um, um, what else? That like each character, I do want to have like a certain set of abilities where it does work for them. Because I know most people would say they would want, like, I looked up Gravity Falls video game ideas, and, like, somebody brought up, like, an 8-bit game, and I thought, fuck no. I don't want that. That's not something I would want for Gravity Falls. I felt like that would not I hate that. I hate that idea. I hate that idea with a passion. I feel like what I would want is like something that really fits with the show, but it also fits in general um with just everything we know about the show and what what damn it, stupid thing. Um what works. I don't know. Like for me, um I feel like you can do a lot of different stuff. I feel like there is stuff that fits. Like each of the boss fights have like a uniqueness to them. But I'm gonna go to sleep. I will speak to you again. All right. I'm probably gonna work on this for a bit, and I might probably end the stream later on because like I do need to charge my tablet. Um, and I know I'll probably be spending a long time like redoing, like making a lot of art for the video. And also, if you want, I can send you the unlisted um copy of like the Arkham Origins video if you want to take a look at that. Um I know I'm going to probably like redo a lot of sections though. But all right, bye-bye. Sure, go ahead. I'll see what I can do. All right. I know I'll probably have to like I need to record more on the boss fight stuff and also like some other changes as well. But yeah, I'll see what I can do. I'll send you what I have. Because I have a lot of it edited. I know that it's gonna need like a lot of like gameplay add-ons and like small little grids made and stuff like that. When I get paid this month, I will. All right. I'll. That sounds good. I'll have to record briefly this boss fight. Like the boss fights for the game, like some of them, though. For not just this one, but also like the Arkham Origins video. I'll have like to record like some alternate takes and stuff like that. Because there's also, like, I know that when I record the audio for stuff, it's like it can be cut or it can be changed, or I'll probably like re-record stuff and say hell with it. Because I know that I have the habit of like repeating things as well. So. That's why you need to script before record. I know, but the thing is, like, most of the time I freaking rely on improvisation. That's what I've mostly done with a lot of my stuff. Like, I just improv a lot of it. And I hope that things, like, iron out and they actually come out looking good. And most of the time, keyword, most of the time, that works for me. Not all the time, though. Because, like, in general, it does kind of get a little off and doesn't always work. Because, like, for me, I would say that I rely on improv a little bit. And that's mainly because, like, it's hard for me to read. So I kind of, like, rely on me improving stuff a little too much, which is arguably worse off than anything else. So, yeah, I know I need to, like, script stuff, but, like, I don't know. Like, I improv. I just kind of like, okay, hopefully this works. Yeah. But now I'm going to... Alright, fam. How long have you been streaming? 52 minutes? Alright. I'll go for a little while longer, because, like, I'll probably go for an hour. I have to, like, do the perspective and stuff like that later. I know I'm gonna have to, like, draw, like, one of the characters, like the main character, like, you have to fight. I'll probably like record a little bit on my phone a little bit later. Like record some audio for the Arkham Shadows, not Arkham Shadows, but Arkham Origins video for like boss fights and any other additions. I might like tweak stuff, but I know I'm gonna have to like record a little bit. Oh, there's like there's like a mini blouse or like shirt right there. To make a lot of assets for the next couple videos. Which is arguably going to take more time than just, I don't know, record it and say fuck it. But I draw, so I have to make a bunch of stuff. But I actually appreciate Celeste's help a little bit on the, where's like, what's it called? The Nightmare Before Christmas video. Probably work on this a little bit more later. And yes, I'll refine the model for my VTuber little thing that I'm testing out. Just depending on like stuff, obviously. Now, I will say, key little note for this boss fight. Because, like, they're the mystery twins, and also I wanted to pull a lot from the Magni and Modi fight, and also just some other stuff in general. I wanted to have it to where, like, there is, like, you have to worry about both of them. So they have, like, differences and abilities, where Mabel can't really do too much when it comes to like lifting up objects the way Dipper can with the medallion, but she can like enchant stuff and like send it out in different combinations, kind of similar to Virgil. So like she can also mess with your like perception, like messing with minds, very similar to Gideon. So she has that ability, and also more magic based stuff, where Dipper has more enhanced stuff that Gideon had. So like lifting up objects. I wouldn't say mind reading. Well, maybe he does, but like I feel like other stuff, you can kind of like differentiate it, where one doesn't have the ability to lift stuff completely, but she does have more magical stuff and like messing with your brain. The other does have the ability to lift something, but also he has this instead of that. So it kind of differentiates it out and evens it out for this boss. So you have like two different things to work about. But I'm probably going to work on this image sometime later. I figured I'd do a stream just working on like custom art for the video, and I'm gonna probably plug up my tablet, charge it for a while, and maybe start recording some stuff. I don't know. Because like I do need to do some things, so I do appreciate all the lurkers or anybody who's even bothered watching. Thank you, Husks. Thank you, God Chicken, for even stopping by. Really happy that you beat Astro. What else? That's really about it. So peace out, everyone. Bye bye.